I'll do.
Okay.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Shiva Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shiva Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Sata His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. So Hare Krishna. We are starting today another Bhagavad Gita class. It's part of our evening program. And today we are reading from chapter 5, entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. And text is 9 and 10. So we'll read the Sanskrit and then the word for word and translation and purport. Naiva kiñcit karomīti yukta manyeta tattva-vit paśyañ śṛṇvan spṛśañ jighrann aśnan gacchan śvasan pralapan visṛjan gṛhṇann unmiṣan nimiṣann indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartanta iti dhārayan. Naiva kiñcit karomīti yukto manyeta tattva-vit paśyañ śṛṇvan spṛśañ jighrann aśnan gacchan svapañ pralapan visṛjan gṛhṇann unmiṣan nimiṣann indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartanta iti dhārayan. Naiva kiñcit karomīti yukto manyeta tattva-vit paśyañ śṛṇvan spṛśañ jighrann aśnan gacchan svapañ pralapan visṛjan gṛhṇann unmiṣan nimiṣann indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartanta iti dhārayan. Now word for word. Na, never. Eva, certainly. Kiñcit, anything. Karomi, I do. Iti, thus. Yuktaha, engaged in the divine consciousness. Manyeta, thinks. Tattva-vit, one who knows the truth. Paśyañ, seeing. śṛṇvan, hearing. spṛśañ, touching. jighrann, smelling. aśnan, eating. gacchan, going. svapañ, dreaming. śvasan, breathing. pralapan, talking. visṛjan, giving up. gṛhṇann, accepting. unmiṣan, opening. nimiṣann, closing. Api, in spite of. Indriyāṇi, senses. Indriyārtheṣu, in sense gratification. Vartante, let them be so engaged. Iti, thus. Dhārayan, considering. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof from them. Purport. A person in Krishna consciousness is pure in his existence, and consequently he has nothing to do with any work which depends on 5 immediate and remote causes: the doer, the work, the situation, the endeavor, and fortune. This is because he is engaged in the loving transcendental service of Krishna. Although he appears to be acting with his body and senses, he is always conscious of his actual position, which is spiritual engagement. In material consciousness, the senses are engaged in sense gratification, but in Krishna consciousness, the senses are engaged in the satisfaction of Krishna's senses. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is always free, even though he appears to be engaged in affairs of the senses. Activities such as seeing and hearing are actions of the senses meant for receiving knowledge, whereas moving, speaking, evacuating, etc. are actions of the senses meant for work. A Krishna conscious person is never affected by the actions of the senses. He cannot perform any act except in the service of the Lord, because he knows that he is eternal servitor of the Lord. So we'll chant the Mangala Charan. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Vishnu Pada Krishna Prastaptale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paśyatya Dashitarine. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we read the verse, we read the purport. So the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about the devotional service, the power of devotional service, the effect of devotional service, and about the mind and the consciousness of the person who is engaged in pure devotional service. Such kind of person is what Prabhupada talks here about. Such kind of person, he says, he cannot perform any act except in service of the Lord, because he knows that he is eternal servitor of Krishna. So here, that's what, when we continue the class, we need to first understand that here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about person who does not know any other activity, only service to the Lord. He's fully engaged in Krishna consciousness activities. That's why whatever externally seems he's doing, it's actually is not binding him. That's why it said he's not doing it. Actually, he's actually acting on a liberated plane, on a liberated platform. Because any activity we perform in this material world binds us to some kind of reaction of like some fruit of our karma. It's a law of nature. It's always like whatever you do, that you will reap. Yeah. And seems like devotee so actively also is engaged in this world, doing so many things. And Prabhupada says in other purports also, it appears even that he is doing the same thing as other materialistic devotees. But it's not exactly at all. It's not exactly the same. It's not at all the same. Because person who acts for Krishna is actually acting in a different realm, in a different platform. You can't compare. Only person who doesn't have knowledge, has not learned about these intricacies of devotional service, may think that it is the same activities, the same things. So today I wanted to actually discuss about last time also we talked about nature of devotional service, but today I want to talk about this from a little bit different angle, different perspective, because it is very, very important for us devotees to understand these truths in order to place ourselves properly. And it is very important to be placed ourselves properly, because our acharyas are sacrificing themselves for a benefit of us. So we have to take full advantage of their teachings, and we have to give ourselves to those teachings. So first of all, I want to establish what does it mean, a devotional service. That it's not that somebody who joined ISKCON and is putting on tilak and then is doing whatever she or he is doing, that it becomes devotional service. Here Srila Prabhupada writes what he means by devotional service. And Srila Rupa, based on Srila Rupa Goswami's teachings. So Prabhupada writes, it's from Back to Godhead in 60s. So Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that 4 kinds of men who had performed pious activities in the past do take to devotional service of the Lord. And who are they? They're the ones who are distressed, the ones who are poverty-stricken, the ones who are learned, and the ones who are inquisitive. All these devotees are not pure devotees. So here Prabhupada is describing who is not pure devotee. Of course, someone who is not coming to Krishna, we understand, is not devotee, but somebody may come to Krishna and be amongst devotees. So that these ones are not pure devotees. All these devotees are not pure devotees because all of them take to such devotional activities with an intention of personal gain. So this is the reason why they are not devotees, not because they are distressed or poverty-stricken or inquisitive, but because they have something, they want some gain. They want to gain something from what they are doing. That's why. So Srila Rupa Goswami, in the very beginning of his definition of devotional service, wants to impress upon us that there is no question of personal gain altogether in pure devotional service. So according to Rupa Goswami, there is nothing personal, no personal gain in devotional service. Pure devotional service means pure. It's uncontaminated. It's free from our personal agendas. So such service, the pure devotional service, must be rendered to the Lord out of pure love of God, which is lying dormant in every living being. And this is also important to understand, that it's not just for some specially selected individuals. This type of ability to perform pure devotional service, free from karma, free from jnana, and fully pleasing to the Lord, favorable to the Lord, is that kind of devotional service everybody can do, every soul, every jiva can do, especially those who are embodied in a human form. So there shouldn't be any doubt about that. So, and then another point we have to understand that real devotional service cannot be performed without knowledge of sambandha, abhidheya, and prayojana. We have to know we have to know sambandha, we have to know abhidheya, and we have to know prayojana. And know, not just know, we have to have faith in these three aspects, because all the Vedas, the mother of ours, who can impart us this transcendental wisdom in our hearts, the Vedas only talk about this sambandha, abhidheya, and prayojana. So we have to know them, and we have to have faith in them. These sambandha, abhidheya, and prayojana are like three revealers of truth. And without truth, without them, it's only illusion. So to be situated in devotional service, it means to be situated in truth. So, and if there is no truth, it's illusion. So you cannot put together devotional service and illusion. It has to be truth, because it's truth. That is the absolute truth. So Prabhupada writes about illusion. He says, again, suppose you love a girl, very nice, beautiful, and when she is dead, you are no more attached, because you know it is a shadow. Why you are not attached to the same lover or beloved who is dead now? No, here is your lover. He is your beloved. Why don't you? No, she's gone, he's gone. Or where he is gone? He's lying here. So Prabhupada says, when we are attached to the shadow, that is called ignorance. That is illusion. So the same, like Prabhupada gives another example, that when we go in the city and there are streets with shops, and we see different dolls in the form of beautiful women in the window of these shops. So although they are so nicely dressed and so beautiful, nobody is falling in love with them. It said only insane person will fall in love with a dead body or a doll in a shop. So Srila Prabhupada said it is the same way. If someone falls in love with this body, it is also insanity, because this body is also just the same dead matter. So like that. So here Sambandha Gyan starts. Who is body? Who is soul? What is body? What is soul? What is material energy? So without this knowledge, the person is insane. The person is just drowning in illusion. So Prabhupada writes, the Vedic literatures give information about the living entity's eternal relationship with Krishna, which is called Sambandha. The living entity's understanding of this relationship and acting according that is called abhidheya. Returning home back to Godhead is the ultimate goal of life, and it's called prayojana. So this we have to understand. This is like a basis, and everything will be properly situated in its proper places if we accept these three aspects correctly. Somebody may not like a certain thing, one of the three, and try to do in their own way. Or somebody says, somebody may say, oh, devotees are only absorbed in prayojana and they have forgotten sambandha. So without sambandha, you can't go anywhere. You may know about rasa lila, you may know about some aspects of devotional service, some processes of bhakti, and you may perform them. But if you don't know the actual your position in this world, in spiritual world, and in the relationship with Krishna, which is sambandha, if you neglect that part, then this abhidheya and prayojana will be kind of foggy in your eyes. You won't see the right you won't see it in the right way. So this, but at the same time also, if you only know Sambandha but you don't know Abhideya and you don't know Prayojana, then also you cannot move further. So if you don't know anything about the Lord's abode, if you don't know anything about his activities there, if you don't know anything about his associates there, then you may not even develop any attraction or interest to go there. So, and if you don't have any interest to go there, why would Krishna force you to go to the spiritual world? So we have to hear about these things, we have to learn, and we have to become attracted. Like Srila Prabhupada says, if you want to go to San Francisco, you hear, you learn about San Francisco, and then you go there. Prabhupada says, like if you want to go to London, you buy a ticket and you go because you have faith in London. You have some faith that London exists. You have some faith that there will be some happiness because you have heard about London. And without that faith, you won't buy a ticket. So that's why we have to know things about spiritual world. And this is not least important. It's not less important as knowing about Sambandha or Abhideya. So Sambandha, we also cannot just focus of only on Abhideya. There has to be something to achieve with those processes. The process has to be intensified. It cannot just be performed whimsically or impulsively, like today I like, tomorrow I don't. So all these three things are actually like twin sisters, I would say. They are together. They have to be together. And each of them has to be understood also properly to be established safely. Like Sambandha, what is our relationship with Krishna? What is our relationship with God? Yeah, so we can discuss Sambandha a little bit. Prabhupada says, that is a fact. So in human form of life, this is the main question. That is called Brahma Jigyasa. What is my relationship with God? What I am? Why am I suffering in this material world? Is there a solution? This is the business of human form of life, not to imitate the animals, how to eat nicely, how to live nicely, how to have sexual intercourse nicely, and how to defend. These are animal propensities. Yeah. So we have to inquire. So this is the beginning of Sambandha, this inquiry. What's happening? What am I doing? Who am I? Yeah. So then the faith has to be there faith has to be there in that knowledge, what we learn about Sambandha, about our relationship with God, about our constitutional position, that we are not this body, that we have to establish faith in these facts. Because without faith, Srila Prabhupada said, without faith, you cannot begin to work. Like example, you gone to the barber shop, he's shaving and people blindly closing eyes. He has got a razor, he can immediately cut. But why do you do this? Because you have faith that the people are professional barbers. They are shaving so many other people. They will not kill me. All right, go on. This is faith. And if you have no faith, then you will never be clean shaven. You go away. So in the beginning, it's faith. But faith should not be blind. Mahajano venagata sa pantaha. So Prabhupada said, if you don't have faith in a barber, you won't ever be clean shaved. So the same thing, if we do hear things about I am not this body, and this material world is like this and spiritual world is like that, but if we don't have faith in this, if we haven't established the faith, then there will not be any activity performed. Or if any activity based on that knowledge is performed, it will be very very weak and maybe not very long term. So what is the actual Sambandha Gyan? That everything is in relationship with Krishna. Whatever we see around, there is nothing separate from him. So, and if we establish this kind of knowledge in our hearts, this wisdom in our hearts, then some activity starts. So what does mean relationship with Krishna? How to understand how things are related? What is my relationship with Krishna? So the basic understanding is that Krishna is a supreme Lord, and I am the soul, the part and parcel, little particle of the great Lord Krishna, Vibhu and Anu. So Anu serves Vibhu, the small one serves the big one. So that's my relationship with Krishna. So what's my relationship with things around here, with this world? The relationship is that I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And this material world is temporary. It's also energy of Lord, but it's a temporary thing, and I am eternal. So we actually have nothing to do. I have nothing to do with this world. So this kind of conviction will make us striving towards engaging in bhakti yoga and devotional service. We will run, we will fly, we will do our anything just to be engaged in a Lord's service. When we understand that I am a servant of Krishna, Krishna is Lord, I'm a jiva, I'm soul, and this material world is not related to me. So this is the basic understanding. It's like Prabhupada said, you are American. So American means sambandha, the relationship. You got in an intimate relationship with a country known as America. This is called sambandha. Unless you know what is your relationship with America, there is no question of fighting for America, because our relationship is there. So if American so much identifies with America, or Russian identifies with Russia, or German with Germany, so then they will give their lives for their country. The same, if a person identifies so much with being a servant of the Lord, they will do anything for the Lord, they will give even their lives for the Lord. So in this kind of conviction should bring about certain qualities, and one of the qualities that is described is actual humility and tolerance. The humility is of two types. One is external, when we are well behaved and we are polite, we respect the elders, we give a respect to everyone else, we bow down, we say nice words. So this is very good, because this kind of behavior creates favorable circumstances for everyone and gives a peaceful mindset for practicing Krishna consciousness. But a real humility, it's called utter humility. This is somebody who has understood that I am eternal servant of Krishna, and I have ended up here in this situation, in this world, in this body, which is actually a bondage, which is actually not my natural situation, and which is impediment to serve Krishna. Somebody who has realized this will just lament within their heart and become very humble. To understand our fallen position, this is a humility. And here fallen doesn't mean that I am performing some sinful activities, or I'm not going to Mangalarti, or I'm eating some karmi grain. This is not what means fallen in this context. As long as I'm in this body, in this material world, I am fallen. And my situation here is lamentable. So this, how devotee thinks, and he stops making arrangements here in this world to adjust. He stops making different adjustments to increase one's comfort, improve the situation. He stops doing these things. Prabhupada tells the story about a prostitute, Lakshahira, and this was a prostitute who was asking 1 lakh pieces of diamond for her services. So men were going to her and giving her, some giving big pieces or small pieces, it doesn't matter, has to be 1 lakh. So then there was one man, he had a leprosy, he was very poor, and he had his wives attending him. He couldn't walk, wife was carrying him in a basket. So, but he was very disappointed and not so happy. So wife was saying, I'm trying my best to serve you. I'm serving you as much as I can, but I still feel it's something missing for you. You are not satisfied. Please tell me. I will do anything for you. I will bring wherever you want to go. So this man said, yes, you are right, my dear wife. I have some desire in my heart. I want to go to that prostitute, Lakshahira, and I want to go to her. So the wife, very chaste and faithful to her husband, yes, sure, I will bring you to her. So she put him in a basket and she carried him to the prostitute. And the prostitute looked at them, and she was very wise lady. So she invited the man to sit and serve him some nice food, nice preparations. And everything she served, every item was double. One was in a golden bowl and one was in some kind of earthen pot or whatever, brass or stainless steel, I don't know, some cheaper, not so exclusive material. So as a man was eating, he understood that all items are double. So he asked her, why have you served like this? The same soup you have, one in golden bowl and one in a simple bowl. So the prostitute was saying, I just wanted to see if you feel a different taste, just because of the difference of the pot. And he said, no, I don't feel any taste. I don't. That's why I'm asking. I don't understand. It's the same thing, just different bowls. So then prostitute, yes, that's why I'm also to understand. You have such a wife. Why have you come here? Yes, so this is our position. We try to always search a different bowl, but actually all things are the same in material world. There is no, you cannot adjust to full satisfaction. You always think that I need new bowl, different bowl, but soup is the same. So the person who has understood their actual position, who has it sambandha gyan, they have given up this idea of swapping bowls and changing bowls and acquiring new bowls in a false hope that the soup will taste better. Actually, there are no soups that taste nice in this material world. So there should be no disillusion of endeavoring so much for that. So we have to understand our fallen position and don't think that fallen means acting abominably. Someone may think, yes, I'm doing all my duties right. Everything I'm doing, where is my fallen position? But actually, I remember when I just joined, it was in Bhaktivedanta Manor in England. And as I stayed there and was serving there, we were attending Mangalarti and all the morning program Tulsi Arti every day, every morning. And at that time I didn't know what all the songs mean. I was just singing together with everybody. And then at one point, somebody gave a seminar of the morning songs and the meaning so that we can meditate. So I attended a seminar. I understood that the last verse of Tulsi Arti is saying that Dina Krishna Dasaho, that your fallen servant prays that may I always swim in love of God, in love for you. So, and I was trying to meditate after the seminar on each verse, but this verse I couldn't fit in my mind. I was thinking, how is this? I am fallen. I have stopped everything what I do. I became such a good person. I even wake up every morning at 3 o'clock. I come for Mangalarti. I do everything. I do full-time service. I don't argue with my authorities. Whatever they ask me, I'm doing it. and I'm reading books, and I'm distributing books, and I'm preaching, and so many things. I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything what devotee is supposed to do. I'm eating only prasadam. I don't associate with any materialistic people. Whatever devotee is supposed to do, I'm doing. Where am I fall? Where is it I'm fallen? How to understand this verse? But this verse shows the utter humility of the author of the song, that he says, I am not swimming in an ocean of prema, therefore I am fallen. Because the natural position of the soul, who is I am the soul, is to have to experience prema, experience pure love towards Krishna. And why? For Krishna's pleasure. Because that's the only thing what can please Krishna. The love, the prema. If we don't have prema, we're not really pleasing Krishna. We can only please Krishna with that love, with prema. So if I cannot please Krishna, I'm fallen. This has to be understood. So when I understand this, what am I supposed to do now? What to do? So some result of understanding sambandha has to lead us to this position. I have to engage in some process. I have to act. I have to act. I have to serve Krishna, because this is my only duty, to serve the Lord. This is my duty. And even now I'm embodied in this body and I don't have love. Still, let me serve, because devotional service, this devotional service which Srila Prabhupada is giving all these activities, it's the closest position to our natural state. So Abhideya, Prabhupada writes, is acting. Abhideya is actually acting. So this is also very important, that when we have these senses are meant to act. They move, the hands are moving, the legs are moving, the head is thinking. It isn't, you can't stop unless you're paralyzed, means in kind of unnatural position. Unless you are in this unnatural position, you will move, you will act. So these activities have to be conducted for the service of the Lord. Otherwise, you are implicated in a karmic reactions. So when a purport said the devotee are not implicated, so it means devotee acts for the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, Abhideya is actually it's acting actually. Sambandha is understanding. So if you do not come to the platform of acting, to Abhideya, then simply understanding will not help you. And acting also with the aim to achieve. Yeah? So sometimes we act, do something, sweep the temple, distribute books, sing in kirtan, but aim, Prabhupada says, this acting has to be done with aim to achieve. Yeah? So this is part of Abhideya also. I'm acting to achieve something. And this achievement is prayojana. So that's why how these three things are linked together: sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. So devotee's heart, this abhideya, the process of abhideya is making devotee's heart a sitting place for the Lord. Like we see, everybody moves in this world. The people change apartments, they change houses, they change cities, they change temple authorities. They change to make something more comfortable, more suitable for the acting. Yeah, the birds, they fly from colder countries. In autumn, they fly to the warmer countries, and then in the spring, they fly back. Always there is some movement for better situation. So the same Lord, when the heart of a devotee is so pure and clean, he moves into that heart. He moves there into his favorite spot. And this is the heart of a devotee who constantly chants the holy name of the Lord. And the holy name of the Lord is begging for that service. I am here in this world enjoying myself, imitating you, trying to be the Lord. But now I have understood that it's all is just cheating. Please, Lord, engage me in your service. So we engage in service. We constantly vibrate the holy name on our tongue. We constantly glorify the Lord, and we engage in devotional service. And in that way, our humility is complete, because there's repentance in a heart. If it's not serving as impetus for service and chanting of the holy name, then it's not real humility. So this crystal clear heart of the devotee who chants constantly is a favorite place of the Lord. That's why it said, Trinada Pisunichena, Tarorava, Sahishnuna Manina Manadena, Kirtanaya Sadahari. So in this way, devotee acts on the platform of the soul, doesn't act on a platform of the body. That's why when he acts, he doesn't act in this material world, because the soul is not from the material world. And devotional service, which is activity of the soul, is on a transcendental plane. Prabhupada says also, just as no one can drink petrol and be satisfied, no one can be satisfied with bodily activities. One must find out the proper food for the soul. If a man thinks, I am a car and I must drink this petrol, he is considered insane. Similarly, one who thinks that he is this body and who tries to become happy with bodily pleasures is also insane. So Prabhupada compares these bodily pleasures and bodily activity as thinking that I am a car and I have to drink a petrol. It's insane. So only intelligent option, only intelligent way is to perform devotional service. Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of Lord is called abhideya, because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living entity's topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service unto the Lord. If one adheres to the regulative principles under the order of spiritual master, he very easily achieves the ultimate goal of life. A person who is addicted to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra very easily gets the opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one starts the devotional service with faith, and then one becomes addicted to the chanting of Mahamantra and to the serving of the Lord. And then very soon he attains that prayojana, that goal, which means to serving the Lord directly. So directly serving the Lord means to attain the spiritual body, to go to the spiritual world and see the Lord face to face and engage in his service in any kind of relationship the jiva has prepared for. Prabhupada many times says you can be Krishna's friend, you can be Krishna's mother, you can be Krishna's father, you can act in this mood. You can be his lover. Krishna says maybe he can even kiss you. So he can kiss a friend, he can kiss a mother, he can kiss a lover, he can kiss his servant. So in any relationship, you can attain that intimacy with the Lord. And that's how you please him, with the spiritual body in a spiritual world. So prayojana is that we need to know the aim. We need to know every leader has his aim. So our leader is Srila Prabhupada. So our Srila Prabhupada's aim, he says that the aim of this movement is to join the pleasure dance of Lord and Radharani, of Krishna and Radharani. And when we join the dance, what do? We serve them. This means joining the dance. This means joining the pastime to serve the Lord. So we pray for that qualification, that that we can actually serve Radha and Krishna through the guidance of Guru, and Guru will engage us in this beautiful Leela in eternal world, and there will be no body of this flesh. There will be no body made of bones. We won't be dressed in a bag of skin which contains unpalatable substances. We will have our Sachit Ananda bodies, and this our ego, aham and mameti, will be engaged fully for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is actually the role of the ego, to be engaged in that service of the Lord, in a connection of the Lord. So this ego will be engaged in that way. So this is fully opposite of what we are doing in a material world. So this kind of engagement, it's not compatible with engagement in this material world. We have to choose. So abhideya is actually like making the choice. I'm doing it and I'm going there. So after understanding Sambandha, we engage in abhideya, and by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we become, our devotional service becomes intensified, more and more intensified, and very quickly will become purified, and we will engage, we will attain this pure state where the Lord will be very much pleased by our service. So, but these kind of arrangements cannot be attained. This kind of situation cannot be attained while we are maintaining attachment to this society, to our family, to our relationship in this world. This kind of situation can be attained only when we focus on entering society of the spiritual world, and having a family there. This should be our transformation, and this transformation is called abhideya. And it doesn't just happen by sitting down and doing nothing. It has to be very intense. It has to be very intense. Like the fierce sun rays of the sun will clean the filthy place of urine. So maybe I could ask if anyone has, I don't know, are we asking questions or comments or any kind of discussion we are opening?
Yes, it can be open. I've allowed everyone to unmute. You can raise your hand or you can unmute and ask a question. Or make a comment.
Or correction.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you said that when our hearts, when one becomes convinced that I'm not this body and I'm the soul, yet we are living in a place where people do not understand that they are the soul and they are the bodies, then many times the conflicts and the struggle begins. Then at that time, how do I maintain my conviction? How do I keep myself attached to this conviction?
You mean during conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to strengthen ourselves. We have to practice and strengthen ourselves. Then because the conflicts are just the modes of material nature. So when we are actually on a spiritual platform, fully connected with the holy name, which is actually the Lord himself, then we are not so much affected by the modes of material nature. And how? You are asking how to be not affected, how to become strong.
Yeah.
By practice. You have to practice. And this practice will purify you.
Right.
You have to
but
dedicate
this is,
yourself to
sometimes
practice.
it becomes very difficult to practice.
Yes.
And
It can be very, very difficult. It's never said that it was very easy.
Yeah.
Easy it becomes when you attain the taste. Then a practice becomes easy. Yeah, like chanting of the holy name. And Srila Prabhupada says we actually have to chant 24 hours, but because we don't have taste, minimum 16 rounds.
Yes.
But even these 16 rounds for some is very difficult.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, but
Yeah.
if we practice 16 rounds, one day will come, then we want to do 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, like this, we have to practice. Srila Prabhupada has given everything. He has given how to practice. You have probably, if you cannot go to temple Mangalarti, you can do it at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your data, if you can't have data, you can have picture. Nowadays, anyway, it's so easy. Everything is online.
Yes.
And then you practice. So it's about practice. The whole class was about practice. To understand, then you practice and you attain the goal.
Yes.
And every question, actually, whatever we have question of how can I do that, means practice. How
Right.
can I play Mridanga? If I take Mridanga and I want to play, I don't know how to play. How to play? Practice.
Practice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I want to play flute,
Yeah.
no sound coming out. How to play flute? Practice.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. You have explained it so well. No, I'm very thankful to you for this wonderful class. I'll always remember.
For encouragement. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Hare Krishna.
So anyone else have some questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much. Very enlivening class. Very good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All good.
Jai.
Jai. So Prabhupada ki jai.